Which is when the United States decided with Kennan's long telegram in 1946 that they had a problem with the Soviet Union. They then analysed in depth the nature of then contemporary Soviet society and politics and the economy, and embarked on a 40-year-long strategy, otherwise called containment. In other words, they are able, through the American political establishment and bureaucratic establishment, to forge a strategy and to adhere to it over multiple administrations. And the man who we honour today in Washington presided over the end of that period. Fancy that, a Cold War ended peacefully between the two most armed countries in the world, the Soviet Union as it then was, and the United States. Now, I'm not advocating a doctrine of containment at all towards China because I don't think it works. Remember the underlying proposition about containment in the long telegram by Kennan about the Soviet Union way back then was the intrinsic fragility of the Soviet economy and society, and the brittleness of its politics would cause it to implode from within. Given what we're dealing with China, it is an heroic judgment to assume that that would occur in China's case. So, but my broader point beyond the specifics of what a US, let's call it grand strategy, should be with China, is that it's entirely within the remit of the United States government at the time to bring together all its agencies of government around a common approach. Now, the Trump administration would argue we've done that already through 3 defining instruments. National Security Strategy of December last year, US National Defense Strategy of January this year, followed by a less reported document released, I think, by either Navarro or Lighthizer in the middle of this year on the future of US defense manufacturing industry. So therefore, if you're looking at the ingredients of a formal, through the administration, all agencies involved, agreed final position on what American grand strategy should be, here are 3, as it were, building blocks for that. But the caveat, Hal, and I conclude on this, is these documents conclude that strategic engagement is over and strategic competition has begun. They do not give us operational guidelines for what strategic competition means on the ground. If you are the captains of 2 naval vessels in the South China Sea tomorrow morning and you come within 46 yards of each other, what does strategic competition mean? We knew what the rules of strategic engagement were, which is, you miss each other at the last minute. So that's where I ask the question where the new work must now be done. And I'm sure if the administration was sitting here this morning, they'd say, we're doing that internally. I've yet to see it, but I'm not suggesting that it's not being done.